Consider the following formula. Which of the following statements is true for this formula? To solve this question, we're going to need to graph this equation. And to do that, we'll have to find our intercept. So let's start by finding our x-intercept, or when y is equal to 0. We'll have 2.5x equals 7.5 times 0 instead of y, plus 15. And now we just solve for x. 7.5 times 0 will give us 0. And that we can simplify down to 2.5x equals 15. And then we just need to divide because 2.5 is being multiplied to x, and division is the opposite operation we need to isolate x. These will cancel, leaving us with x is equal to 2.5 can go into 15 6 times. If you have trouble doing mental division with decimals, what you could do is turn it into a fraction instead. We have 15 divided by 2.5. Right, because 0.5 is the same thing as 1/2. Then you need to change this into an improper fraction. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And now we can do keep, change, flip, or multiplying by the reciprocal. 15 times 2 over 5. If we factor out the greatest common factor of 5, we'll have 1 and 3. Then we can multiply. 3 times 2 is 6 over 1, and that's how we get x is equal to 6. Then, for the second half, we need to go back and find our y-intercept. So our y-intercept is when x is equal to 0. So we'll have 2.5 times 0 instead of x equals 7.5y plus 15. This will just cancel out and give us 0. So we will have 0.5y plus 15. Let's subtract 15 from both sides, opposite operations. This will give us negative 15 is equal to 7.5y. Then we need to divide both sides by 7.5. For this division problem, 7.5 might be perfectly half of 15. Let's check it. Let's do 1 below 15 and 1 above 15 divided by 2. So 14 divided by 2 is 7, 16 divided by 2 is 8, so that means 15 divided by 2 would be 7.5. So if we're dividing 15 by 7.5, that will give us negative 2 is equal to y. Now that we've got our two intercepts, I will turn them into coordinate points and graph them on our coordinate plane. Here I've graphed our two intercepts of 0, negative 2 and 6, 0. The negative 2 we graphed by going to the left and right 0 and going down negative 2. Then we graph the other one by going up and down 0 and going to the right by 6 spaces. So now we can check each of these answer choices with our graph to find our correct answer. 8 says when the value of y is less than negative 2, x is negative. If we start here at y is less than negative 2 and go in the less than direction, we would be going to the left. And we would find that all of these x values are indeed negative for this half of the graph. So answer choice A would be correct. But for the sake of the video, let's go through why B, C, and D are incorrect. B says when the value of x is less than 15, 15 would be way out here somewhere, y is negative. Well, let's say, I'm not going to move the graph, but let's say we start at positive 15 way out here. Less than would be coming up in the left-hand direction this way. All of these y values would be positive until we pass this x-intercept, and once we do, all of the y values will then become negative. So this answer is only partially true, which makes it incorrect. C says when the value of x is less than positive 6, y is positive. So let's start at x is less than positive 6. We'll be going to the left-hand side. Y is positive. All of these y values are actually negative, so C is incorrect. And for D, when the value of y is greater than negative 5 would be 3, 4, 5 down here, then x is positive. So greater than negative 5 would be starting from about here. We would be going greater than, all of these x values so far are negative. They're on the other side of, or on the left-hand side of the coordinate plane. D says when the value of y is greater than negative 5, x is positive. So if we go to y equals negative 5 and plot that point on the graph, it's probably right about here. And then we look at all of our values greater than this point. So far, the x values up until this point are all negative. They're all on the left-hand side of the y-axis. They only become positive after we cross the y-axis. So it is partially true, making the whole answer incorrect, and making answer choice A our correct answer.